Hola, hola, hola. Bueno, pues ya empezamos acá la transmisión. Vamos a dar unos minutitos a que se empiece a conectar la gente, y vamos a compartir este live para que puedan verlo en diferentes canales. Estamos transmitiendo en Facebook, en el sitio de Maltesa, estamos transmitiendo también en YouTube y estamos haciendo una prueba de transmisión en Instagram. Ya veo que se están uniendo a Instagram. Hola a todos los que nos están acompañando. Denos un par de minutitos. Esta sesión, la verdad es que va a estar súper interesante porque vamos a estar platicando con Kilian, quien ahorita les voy a dar una introducción acerca de lo que él hace y de lo que se encarga pues en esta competencia tan interesante que es European Beer Star. Es una de las competencias pues de mayor prestigio en el mundo y pues la verdad es que es una competencia súper profesional, es una competencia, no sé por qué no estoy viendo mi live stream en Instagram, en el celular, pero ya veo que se están agregando varios. Muchas gracias. Ahorita iremos leyendo los comentarios. Por favor, si tienen dudas, vayan poniéndolas, vayan escribiendo para poder atender todas sus dudas, todas las preguntas que tengan acerca de esta competencia. Esta competencia se realiza en Alemania y se realiza cada año. Entonces, bueno, aquí estamos atentos. Ya me parece. Bueno, ahorita lo resolvemos, pero bueno, ya veo que están acá en Instagram. Bueno, pues entonces vamos a comenzar esto. Esta sesión va a ser primordialmente en inglés, porque bueno, Kilian habla alemán, habla inglés también, pero vamos a hacer unos espacios breves para poder hacer alguna traducción de la idea sobre lo que estemos hablando. Ustedes pueden hacer sus preguntas en español sin ningún problema. Entonces, pues bueno, vamos a empezar esto. La idea es que esta sesión pues sea para resolver todas las dudas que ustedes tengan acerca de esta competencia, curiosidades, demás. Es la primera vez en donde México, esperemos que de verdad tenga una importante participación, porque vamos a tener un centro de consolidación en México para poder enviar sus cervezas a Alemania. Entonces, todas sus preguntas, bienvenidas. Pues les voy a presentar a Kilian. Kilian es, bueno, vamos a añadirlo de una vez. Hi there, Kilian. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. Thank you very much for inviting me to this stream.
No, thank you so much for being here. Well, Kilian is the project manager of European Beer Star. Es como la mente, ¿no? Que hace funcionar. He's in charge of every detail concerning to planning, execution, monitoring, and controlling all the logistics around European Beer Star. As beer registration, selecting the panel of judges, shipments, feedback, score sheets, among many other activities to have one of the most professional competitions in the world. So welcome again, and thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And you have a couple of years managing this competition. If I'm not wrong, it was in 2020 or 2019,
2020,
something like
yeah.
that. So how has it been like this experience for you to be involved with this competition?
Generally, I can say I love what I'm doing. I can deal with a lot of great people. I'm in contact with beautiful products, beautiful beers. I'm in contact with great brewers and very passionate people. and the community all over the world. That's really what makes this job so lovable. But of course, I started in the middle of COVID. There were ups and downs, so for everyone, but every year is a new challenge, which makes the job also a little bit exciting. So therefore, we've seen a lot the past years, and that's why, and I really believe, me and the team, we're every year trying to improve ourselves. And with all the knowledge of the past years, it's not only the past 4 years that we're having now. For me, there's also Stefan, who was actually a founder of European Beer Star, who's doing it for 20 years, who's bringing in his experience also every day into the competition. We are trying to be better every day. So I guess we have a great team, and all in the whole package is just good. Yeah.
Wonderful. So how do you, in all these years, I mean, because one thing is your involvement within this competition, and another thing is your experience with beer. So in all these years, considering these last years with you working with the competition, how do you see the evolution of beer industry, like in general, and considering that, well, you live in Germany, and Germany is one of the like meccas of the main places of beer development as a tradition, and for centuries. It's not something new like in different countries like Mexico, that we don't have like a culture so deep as you have in Germany. So how do you see all this evolution of beer industry?
Yeah, I think it's good that you're mentioning that there is a difference between, for example, Mexico or other countries in the world that don't have that deep root with the beer industry that Germany has, because there are, I think, differences in the development. I have the great chance to travel all around the world and seeing the craft beer industry in every part of the world. Therefore, I think I can see some developments that are different from country to country. So, for example, in Germany, of course, craft beer was there. Craft beer also changed the mindset of some brewers. But in the end, brewers stick to the traditional beers. Also, the consumer sticks to the traditional beer styles. That might change a little bit with gender, also with age. So up nowadays, I think that's a trend all over the world. Non-alcoholic beers are very in favor. But when we're talking non-alcoholic beers, we're even talking about non-alcoholic Helles, non-alcoholic Weizen, classic German beer styles. By the way, Weizen, I have one with me, not to melt down here in this hot weather condition. And, people here in Germany, when they're trying an IPA or any other craft beer, they would try it and they would say, oh, very good, very interesting. But they would finish after 1 or 2 glasses. So this craft beer boom has never been that huge, that big, that we are seeing, for example, in other countries. Best examples are neighboring countries. I'm seeing what's happening in Italy. Awesome beers. Italy does also not have a big heritage of beer culture. It's more a wine country. But what's happened the past 15 years is just awesome. Great beers, creative beers. But now I think this is what's now similar, now that the economic scale all over the world is a little bit decreasing, is that also the craft brewers, they have to survive now. You're seeing the strong brewers, they will survive for sure, because they find new ways to make money, to make revenue. But you see the brewers that are not so strong. So there is a consolidation in place at the moment. And this consolidation might be healthy, because the best brewers will survive and will be still there at the end, and maybe open some market entries for new brewers, for new skilled brewers. But this trend is a little bit different in Germany. We didn't have that many craft brewers. We have a lot of small and independent brewers. This is actually the association I'm working for. We are working for small and independent brewers, and they are rooted like centuries ago. They have quite a strong backbone, but also they are struggling. High raw material prices, high energy prices, and so on. So everybody has now to keep the money a little bit in their pocket and see what's what.
Yeah. And how do you see the consumers. I mean, because talking with many brewers and from different countries, the alcohol consumption in general is decreasing. So do you think is this happening also in Germany? You see, I mean, like a very strong change in the beer consumption or alcohol consumption. I mean, you mentioned the alcohol-free beers,
Yeah,
so that's a thing. And but
it's a big thing. Yeah.
do you think it can be in danger, the beer industry, or like not by now, but in the future years?
Let's keep it like this. All brewers have to think about the future. I want to give an example. We had a seminar with some members of ours, with the board, and we were talking about, okay, what's the future of our industry? And the outcome was, all of us, we are brewers with all our heart. But in the end, we have to see how we're selling products in the future. And nobody can say, maybe if in 10, 15 years, are we only making beer? Are we doing also different products? Maybe some plant-based drinks? I don't know. Just dropping some names here. So this trend of the decreasing beer consumption is not only a trend since some years. Actually, we have a trend, the per capita consumption in Germany is decreasing since 50 years. So we used to have 120, 130 liters per capita beer consumption in Germany, and we are now at below 90. This is a trend within the last 50 years, and it will continue, because also what we're seeing when we're doing market analysis, that the beer drinkers are getting older. Young people are not so much into beer anymore. Probably that's my experience that I'm seeing, because I live on the countryside. The countryside, I think it's a little bit different, but in the cities you can clearly see a difference in the consumption and the behavior of the consumer. So it's nothing new, So in the end, there will always be beer. There will always be beer drinkers, but not the volumes, And then the volumes are decreasing. You have to see how many breweries then can be on the market.
Yes. One of the things that I love when I go to Germany is that you can live beer culture, and it's very, very beautiful. Like beer is part of their lives. I mean, in a different way than in other countries, because in other countries we of course love beer and it's part of our everyday, etc. But in Germany, it's very particular thing, and you see like you have like your local brewery from your neighborhood, and you see like couples, like old people, like going just for 1-2 pints of beer and then go back home, and it's part of their everyday. It's like eating tortillas here in Mexico. It's the same with beer for Germany. It's something really beautiful to live and to feel when you visit those places. So
yeah,
that's why I wanted to know that
what combines all the brewers, all the small brewers around the world, is, I think, all the independent brewers, is they're deeply rooted to their community.
yes.
The small breweries, they're supporting the local sports club, they're supporting I don't know, some other activities in the community, whatever it is, and they bring life to the countryside. And this is something that is not honored enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So, bueno, para todos los que nos están viendo, seguimos esperando sus preguntas, las podemos resolver en el momento o al final. Vamos a tener una sesión de preguntas y respuestas. Pero bueno, mientras, compártanos qué están bebiendo. Yo estoy bebiendo una lager. Kilian, salud. Cheers.
Prost.
What are you drinking?
It's a German Weizen Helles, from a neighboring brewery just next to my town where I'm living. 10,000 hectoliter brewery. They're focused. They're only doing Weizen beers. So Bavaria, you have certain breweries who are only doing Weizen. Well, it's not completely true. They're now also doing some lagers, but it's like only a niche for them. They're specialized in Weizen, and it's one of the most traditional in Bavaria, I would say.
Oh, that's really nice. So coming back to EBS, European Beer Star, one of the most renowned beer competitions in the world, and I totally agree about that. I have judged a couple times there, and I can say that it's one of the most professional competitions in the world from all the competitions I've ever been. I really like to judge there because, well, I'm going to ask you about the software we use to judge because it's very interesting and I really liked it. But all the judges, all the organization, yeah, the way the beers are presented, the way you judge, it's very, very professional. And well, European Beer Star was born in 2004, so 20 years by now. So that's a thing. And you have been doing this competition every year, even in pandemic. There was no cancellation of
True.
the competition. So how many people you need for that? I read, because I did my work, so I've read that in 2019 you had 145 judges, and that is the highest number of judges, considering foreign judges and local judges. And every year since the beginning, the number of entries are increasing. So how many people you need for that? Like, how big is your team? And what are the main challenges to reach this kind of professionalism in this big event?
Well, of course, this kind of professionalism does not come from one day to another. So, as I said, we're developing every year, and for sure, 20 years ago, it did not have the level that is here today. So, we're actually in our team in the association. We're 8 people. Not everybody is involved in the European Beer Star, but of course, during the tasting days, everybody works also in this competition. So it's basically me. I've got a colleague who is doing our public relations and helping me with the communication issues. I have now a new team member since 1 month who is now supporting me a little bit. So also that, we also need the kind of redundancy. Does not make sense that I do everything, and once I'm not there anymore, then we have a problem. So now we want to double the tasks a little bit. And then of course we have secretary who is supporting me with small stuff, but that's basically it. Okay, and I have, of course, I cannot forget about my colleague in finances who's helping me with the registration of the breweries, also the invoicing and so on. So like 4 or 5 people, but it's not like we're doing that's not our only job in the association. This is also from time to time. You have some periods where there's more work to do, then you have periods where there's less work to do. And then when the tasting is there, we are at the moment we're doing the competition in Nuremberg at the Nuremberg Trade Fair, and there we are working together with the Braubeviale team, who are also helping us during the days. I have also a team of people of students actually who are helping me during the sorting of the beers and the reception of the beers. So then we have 7-8 more people who are helping with all the preparations. So in peak, I would say maybe we are 15 people who are working, but during the year, maybe 3-4 people who are dealing with European Beer Star in different areas.
Okay, and how many judges you expect for this year?
I've invited 150 judges.
Okay.
So yeah, we're it's always a little bit hard because we have quite some cancellation every year in the last minute because of illness for sure, or some job duties, some unforeseen. All the judges are doing it in their spare time. And if there are some work duties that come across, okay, that's what it is. That's we have to respect that.
Yes.
So the number of judges can decrease. What's important for us, the competition, we're judging the beers, and the beers are divided into teams. And we have 17 teams, considering the 2,500 beers, which I'm calculating now. So this is what our record number, you mentioned 2019 was 2,450 or something. And I actually would like to make this record this year. We'll see if it works out. Doesn't look too bad, but it always depends a little bit on the last days.
I know.
There can always be surprises, positive and negative.
I know. I hope you can make it.
Yeah, me too.
So
but then we're talking about 17 teams, and in each team we have 8 to 10 people. So and then we come in with the 150 roundabout.
Okay, that's nice. That's really nice.
So that the least number is actually 8, what we want to have on a table.
Yes. Okay. Great. So recently, we have too many competitions in the world, and plus the competitions, like the local competitions for each country. So with so many competitions that sometimes brewers are very confused, and sometimes they don't even want to participate anymore in competitions, because it's like I'm spending a lot of money in competitions. Not every feedback is helping me or is useful. So with so many competitions that we have now, why to compete in European Beer Star?
Well, European Beer Star is a well-recognized competition all around the world, so it's got a huge renommé. As I said, since 21 years now, we are doing this competition. And I think I can honestly say we have one of the best, we have the best judges in the world. We are focusing not only on beer sommeliers or reporters, we are also focusing a lot on brewers, because I strongly believe that brewers who are dealing every day with beer, every day also with sensory, they know their job. So if I get a German brewmaster who's doing everyday beer and who's every day tasting the products and everything, and also challenging their beers against other beers, they know what they're talking about. So maybe the German brewer does not know everything about, I don't know, IPAs, for example. But then there come the international judges into the game, and then the combination of all the great people from all over the world. The judges come from over 33 countries this year, I believe. This really makes it so special at European Beer Star, and that makes also the feedback very valuable. What people have to understand, we are a professional competition, and we have only professionals on the judging table. So you will not receive from us a feedback like 10, 20 sentences. That's not how it's happening at European Beer Star. You will get a short feedback, some key points. What do I see in this beer? What did I notice in this beer? And that's your feedback. And we believe we are a professional competition. The brewers that are participating are professional. They know how to handle these issues, if there are issues, if there's something. But of course, also the feedback that you're receiving from EBS, there are some brewers that are not happy with it. Can happen. That's what it is. If you're getting feedback, positive or negative, you won't like it every time.
Yes.
That's how it works. And also, what's different about European Beer Star compared to other competition, we are, I think, the most international competition there is in the world. We have about 1/3 of the entries from Germany, very high-class breweries participating, and 2/3 coming from international breweries. So you're really benchmarking not only in the regional level, but in international level. And I have never judged EBS. I'm only organizing it. But what I'm hearing from the judges is that the level of entries is very high. As I said, that it's a professional competition. Even in the first rounds, you do not get a lot of beers with defects. So you're challenging, I guess, with the best brewers in the world.
Yeah. So talking about that, before we enter to those topics, is the detailing the feedback, which I really liked, by the way, and the way we judge. What about the guidelines, the categories, and the beer styles? You created your own guidelines for the competition. And by now, you have 70 categories of beer. And what I like of these guidelines is that European Beer Star is always evolving. So when you detect there is something new, that is some kind of beer styles that you have to add to the competition, you update the guidelines. And that's what's
Absolutely.
been happening each year. So by now you have the Baltic Porter style, you have a new sour style for German style. And well, I also want you to tell us about the free category, free style category. So I really like what you do with updating the beer styles according to the market, to the producers, to the consumers, because it is how it should be.
Yeah, this is also development. We started it 20 years ago, and then, of course, we don't know everything about. We don't believe that we know everything about the beer styles in all over the world, but we get the feedback from all our international judges every year. So I think one very nice example, and we've worked on this year very hard, that Frank Bone came to me from Brewery Bone and told me, Kilian, we have to talk about the Goes category. I think that style description is not up to date, and can we do something? I said, okay, if Frank Bone offers me support with our category description, how could I say no? So I also went there. I went to Twitter Goose. We talked about it. We exchanged a lot of emails. What could be changed? How can we also, it's a competition after all. We can't do it too strict. You have to make it a little bit broader because not everybody in the world has the same opportunities to brew the beers really genuine, really according to the method that is brewed in the local countries. But after all, we want to keep it as close to the original beer style as possible. And now we worked on it, and now also Belgian brewers are happy with the Goes style description. And this is how it should work. You mentioned Baltic Porter. I get a lot of feedback by Polish brewers. Of course, our German beer styles, we're a German association, we know about them. And also, by the way, they're also according to legal standards in Germany. So it's not like we are an association. We are also consulting our breweries legally. We could never make a style description that is not correct according to German law, So this is also, we are very strict with we want to be very correct with the style descriptions. Let's keep it like this, knowing that it's not perfect. Not every aspect is perfect. And we want to walk also with the market. So, and we want to have also small beer styles from countries like Poland or Italy. We did the Italian grape ale some years ago, introduced it. Because it makes also the brewers from the countries proud to have their own beer styles and then to have them promoted. Helps them find identity in the brewing industry. And so after all, it's a lot of work, but I think it's worth it. And we're also working in some issues together with all associations all over the world. This is also very nice. I think for next year, I was in contact with SIBA from the UK. So I think also next year we will have a development in regards to British beer styles. And so it's a task that never ends.
And actually, it is a very interesting thing. And it's something that I have been talking with brewers recently, because some guidelines can be just a kind of interpretation of the beer style. So what happens when some brewers enter their beers like made in the place where the beer style was born, and it doesn't get a medal, or the beer is an example of the style, and the beer doesn't fit with the guidelines, or it's like another beer made in another country is winning the medal, or the feedback is like the description is all what the beer should be, and it's not winning a medal, and it differs from what is really has been doing in the country where those styles were born. So what you do is also really important, like to go, okay, you are going to evaluate in your competition Belgian styles. Okay, so go with the Belgian guys who knows about those styles and adapt your guidelines according to that. You want to judge, well, German, of course. You want to judge English beers and British beers. So you have to, if you can have an advice on the parameters and the characteristics of the beer, it is way better because you know if your beer is winning a medal in European Beer Star, it fits with the beer style as it should be.
It is a beer, when you enter a beer in a Belgian style, German style category, you know it. You know that you're challenging yourself with the best beers from the respective countries. And if you're then winning a medal, you really know that you're doing a good job creating these beer styles. However, you have also to say, we don't want to stop the creativity of the brewers.
Yes.
There are always, we have categories in the EBS nomenclature. We're talking about new style categories where you also can be a little bit creative and out and off the original beer style, because of course we want to give the possibility. We don't want to be the knights that are guarding the original beer styles and nothing new can enter. That's not the case. That's not what we want. And this is also why, and you asked about the question, why we introduced the freestyle category. The freestyle category, the original idea was that beer might be good, but still not selling because of poor storytelling. And so we said, okay, generally, the marketing and the story and the quality of the beer should actually be combined. That's why we tried it out some years ago to have a freestyle category without any rules, without any limits for the beer. But we are asking the brewer, send us the beer and the story behind the beer. What were your thoughts? How are you promoting your beer to the consumer? What are you telling the consumer about the beer? And yeah, so this is sometimes a little bit hard for the judges because the judges, they're mainly focused on sensory. And of course, the storytelling is very subjective, to be honest.
Yes.
So a story that I might like, maybe my neighbor does not like. It's what it is, but it's a trial to combine the two worlds of storytelling and the sensory part.
Yeah, but it's very interesting and it's really fun. I remember, actually, I was kind of surprised that you introduced this category I think it was in 2021. And I judged that category, and it was really interesting because all the stories that brewers wrote and you're reading, and like it's something like a very deep feeling they have with their beer. So it's very interesting, like to really try what they try to do in the story they are telling you. So it was very fun to judge that category.
It's sometimes a tough category also for brewers, because sometimes they just don't know what to tell about the beers.
Yes.
So sometimes I get registrations in this category, and then the brewers telling me, okay, this is an imperial stout with cocoa beans, and I don't know, and I put all my heart in it, and I mashed it very long. Okay, not a very convincing story, right?
Yes.
So it depends a little bit who is entering the beers. Is it maybe the guy or the lady from marketing department? Then probably the story is a little bit better. Or is it the brewer? Then probably the story is not so good.
Yeah, their point of view is very different. Yeah. Okay, so what I was checking, well, one comment. Si tienen dudas con el registro de sus cervezas y las categorías, pueden escribirme, pueden mandarme un mensajito y los puedo ayudar. I was telling them that if they want some help with the categorization of their beers, they can write me and I can help. But I was looking at the website, and there is a color chart. I have never seen that. There is a color chart on the website to help you to register your beers, because one of the most important things in European Beer Star is the appearance of the beer. It's like the head of the beer and the color and the clarity. So those three things are really a thing in European Beer Stars. So it got my attention. This I have never seen that in a beer competition registration or in the guidelines. So tell me a little bit about it.
I think this comes from the sheer fact that in Germany, if you're doing German-style beers, and if you're learning the craft, if you're studying the craft in Germany, a lot of focus is on appearance. Foam is for German brewers a very crucial thing. If you get a beer without a foam, consumer will not accept it. If you get a beer with a really thick foam, with this very steady foam, the quality of the beer is good. This is why we are always having the foam as a criteria to judge. I'm aware that there are beer styles, for example, like sour beers, where there's no foam formation, that's for sure. So that does not make sense. But overall, German brewers really believe that foam is important. Talking about the clarity, there are some strict guidelines, also legal guidelines, for example, in Germany for Helles or for Pilsner beers. They must be filtered, must not have any haze. This is why we're talking about clarity of the beer.
Yes.
And when it comes to color, in Germany we have also some. Actually, if you wanna, you could say like there's a Helles and there's a Dunkles. The only difference is the color.
Yes.
It's not true based, but from a first glance, the consumer might think about it. And there are also some legal aspects about this, also in German law, for example, where the color, for example, German Dunkles must have above 40 EBC. Helles is below that. And taking this into consideration, this is why this color coding comes into the game at the European Beer Star. To be very fair, this is something comes very challenging, and sometimes there are beers on the edge. So we're a beer competition. We are not doing any analysis, and I don't want to judge any brewery about the beer, how they're doing it. So I am not so strict about it. So if you're saying, okay, that's too dark for a Helles, okay, then don't give it 3 points, give it 2 points. We don't want to be a police here, but
yes.
it is about the whole appearance of the beer, and color is part of the appearance. Simplest.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But so tomen en cuenta mucho el tema de la apariencia cuando registren sus cervezas. So beer registration is done. So it comes the judging days. How judges judge the beers? Because I know there are rounds. So you have the first round, second, finals.
It's like a football championship, the world championship in football. You have a first round. The judges would give a rating and points to the beers. The beers with the best points on the table enter the next flight. It's an intermediate flight. Get 8 beers on the table. The judges would say 4 go to the next flight. We kill 4 beers. Then we go to semi-final, and then we go to final. So rating of the point rating is only in the first round. After that, you have a selection of the beers without another point rating. And and in the end, in the final round, you have, of course, the medal winners. And what we're doing since some years is digital tasting as well. When I started in 2020, okay, this was a COVID year, everything was special, but I was very confused about you get the results all by paper. So you have to imagine 2,500 beers, or you have them in a paper. I had 2 or 3 students who were doing 1 or 2 months nothing else than putting these numbers into Excel sheets. So this has a lot of disadvantages. Not only is it they're very prone to maybe errors. Not only the students, also the judges who can do mistakes during this job for sure.
Yes.
But also it takes a lot of time. No brewer is interested in the feedback about the beer that was judged 2 months ago. That's old news. I want to have the feedback of my beer that was rated now to make some changes.
Yes.
So we are now. So this is why we introduced the digital tasting. Helps a lot during the evaluation, but I think it also helps the judges a little bit. We started it 2 years ago, and again here we're not where we want to be at the end. But for me, it was important to make a first step. I didn't want to have the perfect version right from scratch, because I think there is no perfect version right from scratch, but I wanted to start. And now we're developing also every year to make it more comfortable for the judges to evaluate the beers. And then also for me in the background to have it more comfortable, the communication with the team. So this year probably, I hope we can make it, we can have it completely digitalized, that people can select the beers that enter the next flight. And my team in logistics automatically see it on the screen, okay, the beers, so we can prepare it and not dealing with paper sheets and so on.
Because it makes it easier for both sides, for the organization, for judges, because sometimes when you're judging so many beers, you get tired. I mean, writing too much, and well, the brewers don't want to read or trying to interpret what judges wrote, and because and so it's more useful. But that's another thing that it's very interesting about European Beer Star, that you develop your own software for judging. And on the first round, you have the flavor profile of your beer. And that also is very useful with the feedback, because the feedback, and actually, again, I had many talks with brewers when they don't know why their beers didn't win a medal, if their scores, because here in Mexico and most of Latin America competitions are sanctioned by BJCP. Recently, and actually this year, two competitions started to change the guidelines with Brewers Association in order to adapt more the kind of dynamics in evaluating the beers and also the feedback. And sometimes there is a score on the beer, sometimes is not. So it's very different, but sometimes brewers want to know how far was my beer from the gold medal. If the judges are saying my beer was spectacular, it was very good, and if there is a score, it has the score for a gold medal, so why my beer didn't win any medal? And here it is very, very interesting, and it's very awesome that you can know and you can compare in this flavor chart visually how far your beer was from the gold medal, right?
Yeah, you have to explain that, maybe the flavor profile and the rating. So the evaluation consists of the two parts: the flavor profile, and the flavor profile is a sheer description of the beer. It has nothing to do with a final point rating. And the second part is the evaluation, the rating system. This is really where you say, is it good or not? How is the bitterness? Is it good or not? In the description, you only say it's very bitter. A Pilsner is very bitter. That can be good or bad. Depends how it is embedded in the body of the beer. And the idea is, because we made also our experience with that. If you want to have a benchmarking as a brewer, and if you're doing it with the point rating, you can get a little bit confused, because you have to imagine there are 150 people, and there are not 150 machines nobody and no team is rating completely same level. Some teams, they are leveling a little bit lower maybe in their total points. Some teams a little bit higher. It's just also a team dynamic that is working out at some point. And so we are confusing people if you're doing benchmarking only with the points. Because it can happen, for example, that my beer is rated higher in the first round, and then there's the competition mode. Maybe in the second round, it is dismissed, while in the winning beer has a lower rating and wins a medal in the end. This is just because of a competition mode. Can you imagine if Brazil in the World Championship in football, in the first round, they're getting 9 points, and then in quarterfinal, they lose against Mexico.
Yes.
So Mexico had only 6 points in the first round. That's the same systematic. Yeah. But anyway, we want to have a benchmarking, and that's what we can achieve with the flavor profile. What brewers would receive is, what is your flavor profile? How was your beer perceived against the winner? And then you can see as a brewer, okay, maybe if you're talking, because I have a Weizen here, if you're talking about Weizen beers, there can be more banana-like, can be more like clove-like. So if I see, okay, my beer was very high in banana, and actually the perception is very nice, this is what I want to have, but the winner was more in the clove direction. That's about, now it's again what the brewer wants to have. Brewer can say, okay, but this is my flavor profile, this is how I want to have a beer, then It's totally fine, Or you can say, okay, I'm seeing now, maybe I can adjust a little bit more to the direction of the winner. Maybe this is more the taste that people like. I don't know. So we only can give some support, some ideas for the brewers, but the conclusion of the results is up to the brewer. And one, maybe what's also interesting, what we're also giving as a feedback to the brewer, is the point rating of your beer compared to all the other beers in this category. So it's like a histogram that you're saying, okay, your beer has 34 points, and 35% of all beers reached between 31 and 35 points, 10% or 30% higher, 30% lower, something like this, so that you know where you are within the category.
Exactly. Yes. But this is a very useful thing for brewers to understand how beers were water in this category.
Yeah. Then again, we're every year we're working on our system. We will also do some changes on the flavor profile this year, because we also see that this might maybe. We are asking a lot of the judges. This is not an easy task to do.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of samples to taste, and it takes time. It is challenging. We will adapt it a little bit this year, and I think it will make things much easier for the judges this year, and still give good information to the brewer. So yeah, this is. We're working on it every year. We're trying things out, and it's not perfect maybe from day one, but we're getting there, I'm sure.
Great. So I'm going to read a couple of comments of people from Instagram. Alex Ancona, he's a brewer and a judge from lives here in Mexico.
De Wikipedia.org.
I'm sorry.
Ancona es ahora una
I'm sorry, wait a second.
En la parte central del país, en el mar Adriático.
Damn smart things. Alex Ancona is from Mexico. He lives in Playa del Carmen. So he says that cheers, Jess and Kilian. Freestyle category is great. The storytelling is definitely something brewers should work at. It gives more soul to a beer. So I totally agree with him. Yes. And we should encourage brewers to be creative and to innovation and experimenting beers, of course, with technique basis, but to develop more things. And
do good and speak about it.
Yes. So Job Hops when we were talking about your software, he is saying that there is the VAP platform, and that is all digital.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it works kind of different, and yeah, it is different. It's also useful. Yeah, but this one is different. Y si registras tus cervezas te vas a dar cuenta porque es diferente. Ricardo Semilla Áftica. Hi, everyone. Hola, Ricardo. Cheers from Spain. Another person is asking if we are going to use this VAP platform. No vamos a usar VAP, vamos a utilizar el propio software que ha desarrollado la competencia. Este software es muy útil, es totalmente diferente a VAP, pero lo que estábamos hablando ahorita es justo del feedback que reciben ustedes como cerveceros, en donde ustedes en el feedback pueden entender de acuerdo al perfil de sabor que se les hace llegar de su cerveza, pueden entender cómo estuvo el perfil de sabor de las cervezas dentro de la categoría y cómo es el perfil de las que ganaron medalla. Entonces ustedes pueden comparar un poco esa gráfica, porque llega a manera de gráfica, pueden comparar esa gráfica con el de su cerveza y así entender qué les hizo falta, cómo pueden mejorar, qué aspectos tienen que pulir de la cerveza de manera visual y sí comparada con la que ganó medalla. Entonces, eso es súper importante porque hay muchos cerveceros que en el feedback es como, pero si mi cerveza estuvo muy bien puntuada, no me indicaron ningún defecto, los jueces me dijeron que era espectacular, pero no gané medalla. ¿Por qué? Aquí van a saber por qué, cómo sí pueden llegar, qué tan lejos o qué tan cerca estuvo. Entonces, eso está buenísimo. Mareak, hi from Mexico. Ricardo Semilla Áftica, this is very good, like in Frankfurt and Lyon competition. I think they should have something like that. I haven't seen it, but I think they should have something like that because he's selling. And Job Hobbs is asking that this is very good, and if this feedback, like the graphics, only for flavors and also for smells, aroma, sí, para ambas, todo el carácter de la cerveza.
Yeah, we're judging the beer's appearance, aroma, taste, the body, the effervescence, the bitterness, the quality of the bitterness, and then overall perception.
Yeah.
I think that was it. I hope I didn't forget anything.
So, talking
and
about...
maybe also for the flavor profile, one word, we have 10 characteristics for each category and individually. So it's not 10 characteristics overall categories, but we have identified 10 descriptors for each category. Of course, we have some of the categories like Helles, Pils, German light beer. They are similar in the description of the beer, so they have the same descriptors, but they are totally different. For example, to a stout.
Yeah,
beers.
Of course. Yeah. So, talking about brewery eligibility, tell us about contract brewers, because nowadays not many brewers do an investment to get their own brewery. So many of us do contract brewing, and also collaboration beers. Can they enter?
Of course they can, yeah. Contract brewers, the rule is that the beer needs to be according to your own recipe. So if it's just a new label, that would not be allowed. But if it's your own recipe and you are distributing it in the market and selling it commercially, it's all fine. So you don't have to own your own plant, your own brew house, and so on. So that's okay. And for collaborations as well. So let's say there are two brewers who are doing a collaboration brew. They can enter the beer. Must be, of course, under one name. But in the end, we will find a solution to, if they win, to celebrate both of the breweries, for sure.
Okay, wonderful. Because recently there are plenty collaborations. So yes. So this is one question I have about because In Mexico, it's very complicated to send our beers because customs and everything. It's very hard to do it. To send competitions, beers to compete in European competitions or Asian. But in Mexico and in Latin America, we brew, and one of the main trends of brewing in this region is to incorporate local ingredients in beers. So we can have different kind of fruits, different kind of herbs, spices, ingredients. That this is something I also ask in World Beer Cup, because they have the FDA regulation for ingredients. So I knew that a couple years ago they had a problem with the FDA with tonka beans.
Oh, okay.
Because they were not allowed with beer in the FDA list of ingredients. So here for European Beer Star, we have something like that. I mean, we're not going to use any dangerous thing or illegal thing, but talking about fruits or herbs or anything like that, there is a list or there is a regulation thing, or not till now?
To my knowledge, not. It is pretty easy compared to the US to send beers to Germany, or generally to import alcohol. We have for download on our homepage a commercial invoice, a sample invoice, and all the required informations are in there. And if brewers offer this information in the commercial invoice, up to now I have never seen any issue with customs clearance. The only problem that we're having is only when, for example, a brewery, in Germany we will take over, we'll cover the beer taxes that come up with the import, and the only the beer taxes, they are calculated by the gravity of the beer. So when we are always seeing issues if a brewer forgets to mention the gravity of the beers. During registration at EBS, we are asking for this gravity, not only that the beers fit in the right category, but also that we're having the information, because custom clearance would come to us asking us this information, so we have it in our hands. And trust me, as soon as custom clearance informs me about it, within minutes I am answering them. But what happens then is completely out of our hands. It can go quickly, but it can also take days and even weeks. And there is for us no leverage to make some pressure. That's why I'm always saying, please use this sample for invoice. I have never had any issues if the brewers are using this invoice. And we are working together with Schenker. They're helping us with importing the beers and getting them out of customs. They're professionals. I'm not a professional. I'm doing just what I can, but they're professionals. But even they're saying not much what we can do. So what the information is, within the next days, the package will arrive, but when and how and so on.
Yeah.
And this is, it's maybe also worth mentioning when we're talking about shipping, that we're asking the brewers to also add, we're giving if the brewers register their beers, we are sending them an order confirmation, and on this order confirmation there is a QR code on it. This QR code is very important for us, because when the beers are received in our warehouse, our team would scan it, and immediately I know it in the system that the beers are there. So I can give the brewers information right away if the beers arrived or not.
Yeah.
And there is a brewery login section on the EBS homepage. You can even track it on your own. You can also, there's a lighting system. If the light is green, your beers arrived. If it's red, it did not arrive. So also, actually you have the same information that I have, even if I'm in the office. And coming back to the original question, it's not hard to import beers. You just name the brand of your beers, how many liters, and so on and so on. So if you're not mentioning really that there is something in it, nobody would check it.
Okay.
So it's nothing okay, except if there's something illegal in it. But
yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but no. Okay. So now, in past competitions, past editions, you can only register 1 beer per category. Now you can register up to 3 beers of the same beer. Obviously not the same beer, the same brewery, sorry. Obviously not the same beer, different recipes, but in the same category, right?
Yeah, this is again development that we made, and some comments that we received not only from brewers, but also, we have some friends of the competition that are very close to us, and we get a lot of feedback also from our association members. There are breweries that are focusing on certain beer styles, which are their specialty. For example, I'm drinking here Weizen beer from a wheat beer brewery. So they have different wheat beers in their assortment, in their product line. But then it is like, okay, they can only enter one of their beers in this category, even though they have 2 different or 3 different products that are very well. So that's somehow unfair. And this is why we opened the categories. So up to 3 beers now per category are allowed. The original idea of this rule was in the beginning of the competition that especially some brewers would maybe try to sneak in some beers that they're labeling, for example, Helles, and the same recipe that they're labeling with lager beer, and then they sneak it in the same. And, This is what we wanted to avoid, but time has changed since this time. We don't believe that this happens anymore, and this is why we opened the categories.
Okay, and you have a limit for beers for each brewery? I mean, up to 10, up to 5 beers, or? Okay.
No, because I don't believe that a limit makes much sense. Some people would argue that I'm increasing chances of winning, but this would mean that winning is just up to luck. So if I'm playing lottery and I'm buying more tickets, then I have more chances to win. But at European Beer Star and a beer competition, it's all about quality. And if the quality of all your 10 beers suck, then you won't win a medal. Simple as that. And if the 10 beers are good, then you have good chance to win a medal.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. So registration dates. Okay, so here we have the website European Beer Star, and the registration is up till July 24th.
Correct. So
and the
2 weeks.
The cost per entry is 270 euros per 1 and 2 entries, but 240 euros from 3 entries till anything you want.
Correct. And what's maybe very interesting, especially for the Mexican brewers out there, is that we're organizing this year a consolidation point. Also, you can find the contact data of Guillermo, who is organizing the consolidation point, and European Beer Star will take over the costs for the shipping from the consolidation point to Germany.
Yeah, and that's a very important thing. That actually was our next point, our next
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's like we are going to vamos a tener un centro de consolidación por primera vez en México para European Beer Star. European Beer Star cubre los costos de envío de México hacia Alemania de las cervezas. Todo el tema de importación, exportación, todo se encarga, en este caso, bueno, de una vez les voy a poner entonces. Aquí está, abajo en la pantalla, está la dirección. El centro de consolidación es en Cervecería Nacional Morelos. La dirección es Norte 14, ese es el nombre de la calle, número 341, Ciudad Industrial Morelia. Ese es el centro de consolidación este año para que manden sus cervezas, no hasta Alemania, porque es prácticamente imposible por temas logísticos y de aduanas y de exportaciones, no, nada más las tienen que mandar a Morelia, a esta cervecería nacional Morelos. Ahí está la dirección, ahorita les pongo los correos por si tienen alguna duda, pero esto es algo que justo hay que aprovechar porque no hay que cubrir costos de logística hasta Alemania, no hay que lidiar con temas aduanales, no, es simplemente mandar sus cervezas a Morelia y la cervecería y European Beer Star se van a hacer cargo de que lleguen a Alemania sin ningún problema. Las cervezas van a viajar vía aérea, entonces no es que se vayan a ir en barco y que vayan a estar 3 semanas expuestas a diferentes temperaturas, no. Entonces, de verdad es algo que tienen que aprovechar. Es la primera vez que se logra hacer en México, entonces, bueno, aprovechen. Okay, so yeah, shipping, it was a thing we have been dealing with in different competitions out of Mexico because it is very hard, customs, logistics and things, and also expenses. It's very, very expensive to do that. So thank you for supporting this consolidation point in Mexico for the first time for European Beer Star. And so, registering process. It will be open till, estará abierto el registro hasta el 24 de julio. Ese día cierra el registro de European Beer Star. Así que registren sus cervezas. Tienen hasta una semana y media, más o menos, para que puedan inscribirse. So the registration process, you have to get an account on the website, then to look for the categories you want to register your beers, and then to pay, and then you receive the confirmation, right?
Correct. So you sign up with the email address and you choose your own password. Keep the password because with this password you can log into the brewery login and then follow up. Not only follow up your beers, you can also download your results, your feedback of the beers. You can download your awards and all the logos that you will receive when you, in case of you're winning. And not only for this year, it's like a database for the next years. So if you want to do it, if you want to compete every year, you will have all the feedback, all your information in this one space available. Then you're choosing the right category. We're asking for some information, entering the information. And as you said, we have several possibilities to pay. We can do it by invoice. We can also do PayPal. Our credit card is also possible. And and after the payment process was successful, then you automatically receive the order confirmation with the mentioned QR codes, which we're asking to put outside your package, clearly readable. So our team in the warehouse has an easy job to do.
Okay, wonderful. So judging will be September 18, 19, 20, and 21.
Correct. So on September 18, there's the reception. What we are doing at European Beer Star, we are doing a separate introduction for the regular judges and also then an extended introduction for the table captains. So for example, the table captains are long-time European Beer Star judges, and we are briefing them every year about what's new about the competition. For example, what's new now about the system. So in case there are issues on the table that they can help them, but also about the new style and what style guidelines and what changed in the category description. In case there are discussions on the table, they can moderate the table. And we are doing also a tasting for them, separate tasting. This year, Baltic Porter and German-style sour beers are new on the list. So they get an extensive briefing on the first day. Then we have 2 days of judging. And the last day of the European Beer Star is always reserved for some field trip. We are visiting this year Kaspar Schulz and also Marsborough and going somewhere nice to Bamberg to eat. And then we have had hopefully a good time and found out the best beers in the world.
Actually, another important thing that I want to talk about a little bit is about this kind of training, workshop, tasting. there is in the reception, or well, the day before the competition is for judges with the new categories, and it is also very important because it's a kind of training. And I don't remember which one I have had, if it was the Witbier or the Sesión or some category. And but it is very important because you if not to train judges, but to refresh the characteristics of the beer style and the new categories in the guidelines. So it is also very unique in a competition, and it's a very good thing, actually.
Yeah, let's face it. It's not only about. It is, of course, it's mostly about finding out the best beers and evaluating beers, but in the end, it's also a networking event. And secondly, it's also, there we have industry leaders from Germany there who are setting benchmarks with their beers in certain style guidelines, and we have international know-how there. So for me, it would always be very nice to have for international guests that they learn something about German beer styles, and for our local judges to learn something about an international beer style that they're maybe not so familiar with. And maybe if you can keep this like every year, then I think we're getting better altogether. And we find some binding together. This year we want to do a kind of sensory trail. We will have several stations to welcome the judges. One station we want to do some spices, blind tasting of spices. We want to do some water tasting. We want to do some off-flavor tasting. We want to do Bart Haas is also participating, wants to do some training on hops. So it's also a training for the judges.
And that or gives a warranty or for brewers to trust more in these competitions, because you are working very hard in being professional and to also give tools to judges to judge better. So, bueno, lo que estoy platicando con Kilian es que a los jueces en la sesión introductoria, un día previo a la evaluación, nos dan una especie de taller en donde las nuevas categorías, un cervecero local de ese país donde se integra la categoría, explica el estilo, se hace una degustación, habla sobre temas de características principales. Entonces, eso se hace en cada edición para todos los jueces. Y eso garantiza también que los jueces estamos entrenados, estamos capacitados y tenemos las herramientas para poder juzgar mejor sus cervezas. Entonces, de verdad, es una competencia súper profesional que, como lo hemos venido platicando a lo largo de esta charla, tiene de verdad todo para que puedan confiar en esta competencia y saber que si su cerveza gana una medalla aquí, es una excelente cerveza. Y si no, les van a dar toda la retro, la comparativa y demás, para que sepan por qué no ganó, cómo mejorar, pero de una perspectiva diferente y de una manera visual muy distinta. Okay, so award ceremony, November 27th in Braube Viale. Braube Viale is one of the most biggest and important expos or fairs of beverages in general in all the world. So Ceremony Awards is there.
Yeah. So maybe one word, Braube Viale, our association is the honorary sponsor of Braube Viale. So back 50, 60 years ago, our association has founded the Braube Viale. And it started off as a session for technicians to get some lectures and some sessions. And it became bigger and bigger at the point where we are now, and it's getting professional and more professional every year. Our association is still involved in sideshows, in technical sessions, and so on. And one big event, of course, is the European Beer Star Award ceremony. where we are inviting brewers from all over the world to come. And at the end, we also have the winners' night. I hope I'm not telling already something that you wanted to tell. The winners' night is an exclusive event for winners of the European Beer Star. We are inviting all the winners to come to Braubeviale, an evening event with 700 guests. We're asking all the winning beer brewers to send another samples for this evening. And with all the winning beers, we are having the most exclusive bar in the world, beer bar in the world. It's a great networking event where brewers from all over the world come together. They're tasting different beers on the bar, and it's a very nice networking atmosphere. So if you're standing there and you want to have a good sour beer, you're tasting something like, oh, that's good. And the neighbor says, but you have to try this one. This one is even better, or what else, you know. It's very nice just to see a lot of happy faces there. And I think it's a very special evening.
Yeah, I have to go. I've never been in Braubeviale, so I have to go. And that tasting sounds awesome. So, todas las cervezas que ganan medallas se les pide de manera, digamos, voluntaria, si se desea y están las posibilidades, de mandar 50 o 30 botellas de su cerveza para el día de la premiación hacer una degustación entre el público. Entonces ustedes pueden probar ir a esa área, se llama, pueden ir a esa área y degustar todas las cervezas ganadoras de medalla, únicamente las que ganaron medalla. Entonces, lo que prueben fue medalla en European Beer Star y eso se lleva durante la Braubeviale después de la premiación. Okay, so one of our last topics of this conversation that yes, I know it has taken more than an hour. I knew it, but I'm glad.
I'm talking too much.
I'm glad. It is very interesting talking with you, talking about beer, talking about this competition. Okay, so judges. That's another question many people has about European Beer Star. How is or what is the process to be part of European Beer Star as a judge?
I'm actually in a very, very nice situation that there are so many people from all over the world who want to judge European Beer Star, and the list of the waiting list or the watch, I call it watch list because it's really people that I have a look at is very long. You know, what we're asking for is a basic education about sensory training. It's not so important if this is a BJCP training or Cicerone or any other beer sommelier, Dömens beer sommelier, whatever. This is the basis that we want to know. Okay, the lady or the guy, they know about sensory, they know their stuff. And then because it's so hard for me, if I'm receiving an application and I'm only seeing like a CV, or this is also what we're asking, a CV and some certification, doesn't say much to me about the person. How is this person acting at a table? You know, some certifications, let's face it, doesn't mean if you pass the certification that you're a good judge. It's what it is. And I can tell from the office desk. So this is why I trust in recommendations of people that I know, and people that I know are actually European Beer Star judges, current or former judges. So it is about networking. It is about getting those recommendations. So if I receive a recommendation, for example, from Jessica, that I know, okay, this is something, this is somebody I have to have a look at. It's maybe, it is an effort, but there were times before I made this rule that I received on a daily basis applications, and it was just getting out of hand. And I hate to say no, but at some point I just had to say no. But now I can at least say, okay, please get me some recommendations, and then we can talk about further steps.
Yes, that it is the way you have to do it, because there is many people interested, and but there should be a process, like selection process, according to the experience and and the sensory knowledge of the judges, and as you will say, also the recommendations. So you personally select judges. You have like a committee, a small group to check all the applications.
Since the time that we introduced the recommendation process, the applications got less, still more than enough. But it seems like, there's a certain hurdle for people to take some efforts to get these recommendations. And yes, each year we would have a look at the current judges. I'm trying to change the judges a little bit more than maybe we did in the past, to give some new judges the chance to come in. This is a very tough job, because if I'm not inviting anyone who was judged now for 5 years in a row, they were going to call me and say, Kilian, what's wrong? Did I do something wrong? I said, no, you didn't do anything wrong, but you have been now 5 times.
Yeah.
Now I need you to have a break, to give the opportunity to a new judge.
Judges.
As I said, it's a nice situation, because people are very interested in what we're doing in our competition. But
it's very hard for you.
It's a difficult job, because you always have to disappoint people.
Yeah, I know. So obviously it is very complicated, and I don't know if any competition does this thing, but did you check the score sheets of judges or something for you to know if they are doing a good job, or if maybe it's like, maybe I'm not going to invite this judge because he wasn't or she wasn't as good as I thought, or is not doing a good job, or on the table, because as you will say it, you can have too many certifications, but you can have a very shitty, behavior on the table, and you can be like very rude with your opinions and everything. So did you take this in account, or how do you notice about these kind of things?
Especially the table captains are long-term EVS judges that we are trusting quite a long, sometimes even since maybe not day 1, but day 2 or day 3 of the competition. And if some of the table captains are telling me, Kilian, maybe good in sensory, but the behavior on the table was bad, I will listen to it. What I also have to do is, after the competition or after the tasting, I would check really. I'm not exaggerating, but I would check the results, the evaluations. Of course, I have over 10,000 entries in the database. Probably I will not check everything, but I will check some comments. I would, if I'm seeing some spelling errors or something, I would correct them. I'm not correcting any of the feedback, of course.
Yes.
But I have to check it if there's something completely wrong, or which never happened before. But I will check it, and then from time to time, I'm seeing some pattern. If there's a judge, of course, I'm not saying names, but one judge I've seen in German style Helles in Germany, 8 beers, and he found 5 times acetaldehyde. Of course, it can happen in a German beer as well, or in the German style beers, but 5 times 5 out of 8 in Germany, very unlikely. So if I'm seeing something like this, of course, I would check it.
Yeah,
but it's not. There is no system behind that. Like, okay, those are the people I want to have a look at. It's also not really fair to make it like this, because everybody might have a bad day at some time, and I focus more on the feedback of the table captains or of people that I know. We're talking about it, and if I'm hearing something, then I would check maybe that.
Okay, great. Así que, bueno, si quieren ser parte del panel de jueces, pues pueden ir al sitio, ahí está el área o el botón para meter su aplicación. Okay, so other awards, you have the Future Award. So what is it about?
Future Award is actually a sustainability award. Why are we doing it? So I think for us, and we talked in the beginning a little bit about the future of the industry, and we believe that with new circumstances and the current world, people have to work on their sustainability, on their systems, on their quality management. And we wanted to use the reach of the European Beer Star. We wanted to make use of it, and not only giving the brewers the chance to shine with the quality of the beers, but also with the quality of the management. You can be with your company, you can be very sustainable, you can be very green, you can be very socially active. But if the quality of the beer is poor, all the governance above the quality is not really, doesn't make much sense.
Yes.
So we wanted to have a platform to combine quality and good governance, company governance. And so this is why we wanted to offer all the breweries the chance that enter beers at the European Beer Star free of charge to also make an application for the Future Award. The only thing that they have to do is they have to fill out a questionnaire that I've sent to the breweries. This is also, by the way, available on the homepage of the European Beer Star. You can download this questionnaire under the section Future Award, and you can look, what we're asking for the breweries. This questionnaire was worked out with a professional company. It's called Edelweiss Society here in Germany. They are those are two guys who are working for. This is now a little bit complicated. Anyway, they're professionals. They're working for radio station here in Bavaria, the biggest radio station, and they're working also on sustainability on events for this biggest radio station, very very famous here in Bavaria, and they work with us on this questions. So they are also scientifically proved. They're coming from a scientific point of view, and in the end, the brewers have the chance to apply with this questionnaire. We will evaluate this questionnaire, and also we will give to each and every brewery a feedback about the questionnaire, about maybe next steps. So it depends on the level that they're setting to us. What would be maybe just to start with, or what would be a next step to become a little bit better? So we will give them a feedback about it. And the best 8 applications we will judge this year at European Beer Star in a separate flight, giving a rating. And then we are combining the questionnaire, we're combining the tasting, and then we have a third pillar where we're asking the breweries to present a topic about how to reduce primary energy in the brewery, what measures have been taken in the past years, a project that they can present. This will be judged by industry experts, especially when it comes to energy efficiency. And out of these 3 pillars, we will select 3 people or 3 breweries for the Future Award, and we will also honor them at Braubiviale, and then celebrate with them.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really, and also promoting these things that on the very near future are reaching us. So it's very important also to do this kind of labor. Okay, so Well, EBS, as you may see, it's also interested in all the kind of things around beer, not only about judging beers, and socially responsible. And you also incorporated since last edition the safe spaces in the code of conduct. I mean, in order to contribute to generate an environment of professionalism and respect for all of us, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think it is most important that our guests from all over the world, they feel safe when they're in European Beer Star, and that we treat each other with respect, not only with respect, but also to treat us with acceptance. And currently is different times, a lot of tensions all over the world, and I think beer can connect all people from all over the world, and this is what we should promote across borders. And a code of conduct, just, I think this is nothing. It sounds very, very
Yeah.
superstitious. It is not. It is actually basic behavior that human beings should have.
Exactly. Yes.
It's just the first step, to write this down. This is what we want in case there are issues that we can act. So
Yep.
that's it basically.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. So what's next for European Beer Star? In any, I mean, I know you will be like developing and improving and everything, but what do you expect in the near future for European Beer Star?
In the very near future, I'm expecting some entries the next 2 weeks. I'm very busy.
More Mexican beers, please.
And more Mexican, hopefully. Yeah. But I think you're talking more about maybe the next 1 to 3 years. It is actually currently quite challenging times for everybody. I talked about economical scale before. We just want to be there. We want to be a quality competition. We want to hold our quality. We want to show it to all over the world that we are caring about beer. We're not doing it only because of profit and so on, but we want to promote beers all over the world, genuine beer styles, quality beers. This is also one reason why we're doing the Future Award. We are an association. We care also about the future of the industry. And now challenging times. I know that the pocket of the brewers is not full. They have to check the money. They have to see where they're going. We want to keep our level. We want to be as good as we can. And when the times are getting better and maybe also some marketing budgets are there again, then maybe we can rise also in numbers again. But this is not our main focus at the moment. We want just to give a good service to the breweries, and we hope that we can give some value to the brewers with what we're doing.
Yeah, and I'm sure you will keep doing it because you're doing a very great job. So some questions, just a few questions from the public that I received during these days is in Mexico there will be rising like meaderies, mead. So will mead be accepted in European Beer Star or only beers?
Yes. Okay. No, actually, European Beer Star is really about beers and products that are sold as beer. So, for example, what we are also not judging are some beer mixed drinks, beer with lemonade or something. If you're adding fruit, the fruit must be added during the process, during the fermentation process or whatsoever. But we're not judging beer mixed drinks and also no meat.
Yes. Okay. So, what famous breweries, if you can tell, enter to this competition?
Okay, I can just I can just say check out the homepage, check out the winners list. Those are the great brewers that are competing. No, we have great brewers from Germany. We have leading brewers like.
I don't know if it's your internet. Okay, no. Yes. Okay, you're back. I didn't know if it was me or you.
I'm not. I think it is me because it seems like there was a power cut or something.
Oh, okay.
Something was wrong.
Okay. Okay, but you're back. Don't worry. And it just cut the interesting part.
No, so we are not making visible the breweries that are participating, because we have a lot of breweries who don't want to be visible, because if they don't win a medal, they don't want to be blamed, or they don't want to be spoken bad. So we've never done this before. But we have, of course, winners that are winning every year, famous German breweries. You can check out the winners list, and then you see the breweries. It's the leading breweries. It's not really a secret. Belgium, I don't know, the Halve Mann, from Switzerland, Schützengarten from Austria. It's Stiegel from Germany. It's Lemke. I don't know. So check out the winners list. Yeah.
Okay. The next question. The next question was about the same, but about judges. But it's like you can have like this couple of the same breweries, the same brewmasters of judging the beers. I mean, not all of them, but some of them can judge your beers. Le preguntó a Kilian que qué cervezas famosas o qué cervecerías famosas y jueces participan en la competencia. Échenle un ojo al sitio web de European Beer Star en la lista de ganadores. Y son cervecerías de verdad representantes del estilo de Alemania, de Bélgica, de Austria. Entonces sí van a competir sus cervezas con cervecerías ejemplares, digamos, de los estilos y cervecerías tradicionales que tienen años de experiencia. Y los jueces igual pueden estar evaluando sus cervezas, maestros cerveceros de estas cervecerías, nada más como para que tengan una idea de la calidad de cervezas que compiten y de jueces que están participando. Okay, so we
that of course no, if I'm having brewmasters in the judging table, they will not taste their own beers for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely, yes. Yeah. Okay, so we have just finished this conversation. So, Kilian, I really want to thank you for your time, for your knowledge, for sharing all this information around European Beer Star. I hope this will help brewers to understand a little bit more about this competition and to encourage them to register their beers in this competition. We still have 1 week and a half left to enter their beers because the registration ends up till July 24. Nuevamente habrá un centro de consolidación en México, en Morelia. Solamente se tienen que preocupar por mandar sus cervezas a Morelia. La organización se encarga de cubrir costos y hacer toda la logística para enviarlas hasta Alemania. Si no vieron todo el video, échenselo, se los recomiendo. So once again, Kilian, thank you so much. I don't know if you would like to add anything.
Actually, my glass is already almost empty, so I think we did a very good job. I'm running out of beer.
Just in time.
No, generally, if you have any questions about the competition, you can hit me on Facebook, on Instagram, or We are available on every channels, also per email. My email address is also published on the European Beer Star homepage, I guess. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And I'm happy to help you with every issue that you might have.
Thank you so much again. No olviden registrar sus cervezas. We had a little problem in the beginning, so I don't know why the live stream stopped streaming on Facebook, so I recovered it some 20 minutes later or something like that. But I will next week I will be posting some short clips about this whole conversation with the most important things that we talk about.
It's probably too long anyway.
Sorry again?
It was probably too long anyway.
Yeah.
People are bored by what I'm saying. I understand.
No, but it was perfect. It was great. So, yeah, estaré posteando videos cortitos de esta conversación con subtítulos en español para que tengan toda la información de manera puntual. Y pues bueno, nada, échenle un ojo al sitio web de European Beer Star. Se los vuelvo a poner acá abajito. Ese es el sitio, europeanbeerstar.com. Échenle un ojo, inscriban sus cervezas, las inscripciones terminan el 24 de julio, tenemos envío consolidado desde México, desde Morelia, no tienen que hacer más que enviar sus cervezas a Morelia. Kilian, it was a pleasure talking with you about your job and your wonderful organization and working as a team and everything around this competition. And see you in September.
Thank you very much, Jessica, for giving me the opportunity to talk. And see you soon. Looking forward to it. And then not only a virtual beer, but a real beer together.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So, see you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.